If you're an Unturned server owner, planning to make an Unturned server, or even if you're just somebody who wants to learn more about Unturned servers, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks, as well as some general advice from myself, as well as some other Unturned server owners that were willing to share to me. I'll be going over this information that I've learned from over 8 years, and hopefully it'll be able to help you. So without further ado, let's get started. Don't try running a server with multiple owners. It won't last, and there's usually a pretty good high probability that one of those owners, is going to be carrying a majority of the weight. Now, having multiple owners can work. It's not impossible, but there's certain things you need to understand about having multiple owners. Multiple owners, by necessity, means that there's usually no single head person that can end disagreements and make a final decision. Having divisions in the team and group can create massive issues. In the event, for example, a massive split up. Splitting up like this can often sometimes mean that, if both of you guys are paying things separately or buying different things, then that content would be split between two or more people. And in the case of the server host, whoever is paying for the host and has the main highest level access to it, well, you have the whole power there. In that event, you're basically screwed. So what I suggest to you is usually have a chain of command. Who's at the top and who isn't. If you have multiple owners, it's a big risk. You need to be careful with that. I always recommend that people have one main person who has control over the finances and has all the access to the stuff and is the de facto owner of all that. If you're owning a server, your best bet to have a stability and make sure that you're not going to be spending a ton of money all the time is learn how to do a majority of the development yourself. Obviously, certain things are going to be much harder than others. Plugin development is one big one that honestly no one's going to expect you to know. But if you know it, then trust me, you're going to save a lot of money. You should learn how to make a map if you're owning a server or have somebody who does. And if you do, just keep this in mind. If you rely on one person too much, you're going to give them the leeway a lot of the time to abuse. I've seen a lot of servers where they have somebody who knows how to map or some other thing, and they cannot do anything about this person who's abusing, spawning things in, or just being an asshole all the time because they provide such a key service to the server. It's happened to me, actually. So just letting you know, be careful. You want to learn these things as best as possible so that you do not need to rely on other people and you're not in a bind if the worst comes. Creating one server that's really popular is hard enough. Creating a second one is nigh impossible. I've never been able to do it over 8 years, and I can probably name the people on my hands that have been able to successfully do it. It is extremely difficult. It requires a lot of resources and a lot of patience. And you do not want to have your already successful server start dying off because you're putting all of your effort and time into a second server. Put your focus, your resources into making that your main server grow and expand and be stable. Creating a second server is a luxury if you have the resources and the people to successfully maintain and continue to improve your existing server. Creating a mod pack doesn't just mean that you put all of your own content in there. You can and should reach out to other mod developers and ask them if you could have permission to re-upload their content into your mod pack so you have access to edit it. Now, a majority of the time, they'll probably say no, but you can always ask, and if they give you permission, that will allow you to edit this content and make it be perfectly fine-tuned for your own server. Try it. You never know, and who knows? Maybe you might get access to use a lot of things. Though, you should always keep in mind that just because you have permission to re-upload it does not mean you're able to monetize that content. I've seen a lot of servers get in trouble with mod developers and banned from using certain modded content because they thought they had the bright idea, or, well, they didn't really think about it too much, that they could just monetize whatever they wanted. Obviously, being cautious and careful, while it can be very annoying and very limiting for your stores, is very important. Always ensure, if possible, to get the Blender files and non-master bundled versions of the custom content you get created. The master bundle files and the pre-master bundle files are important because if you ever want to master bundle that content with other content, you would need a software called the Ripper, which is used to take apart a master bundle and make it back into its original constituent parts. And those can be unreliable. So having all versions of the files is very important. If you can, ask. This is also possible with plugin developers, but oftentimes if you're asking for the code of a plugin, they will ask you for more money. So this is not always possible, but if you can, ask. a few more basic things that I want to say before finishing this video is as follows. One, obviously, do not focus on a donation store or any kind of store before you're able to get a stable player base. I've seen a lot of servers that completely maximize pay to win when they first start getting a little bit of success, and oftentimes this, massive pumping into the whole pay to win stuff can have a lot of negative effects and perceptions on your server. I really recommend that, if you can afford it, that you should try to focus on building up community and, only do minor stuff. If you really want to do it, which there's nothing wrong with it, only do a little bit, maybe just start with some ranks and with some simple stuff, and, use that extra money you get, if any, to pump into your server. Another thing that I want to say before ending this video is that you should always keep in mind that your staff team is volunteers. I don't expect most people to be paying their staff, and most servers, especially on Unturned, do not make enough to pay their staff. You should come to expect that your staff members at some point or already are abusing in some way. Obviously, my best advice, if you have the resource to invest, is get plugins that make it nigh impossible for them to abuse if you have competent managers. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it if you guys could leave a comment and tell me what you guys think about this kind of video. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with this channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys could share your thoughts with me and what kind of content you want. I'm still torn between trying to focus on, gaming content and doing stuff like this. So any kind of feedback or suggestions would be highly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.